Malcom Stewart versus Jason Anderson here. Oh boy, this is going to be good. Welcome to Moto X Games Online here, and today I will be telling the full story of Malcom Stewart versus Jason Anderson. Because this all starts way back in the day, 8 years ago now, back in 2014. So back in 2000, let me just start from the beginning and then I'll talk about my thoughts on the incident here now at Daytona and now watching it a few times. So let me start by saying that Stewart, I believe, instigated all this, because back in 2014, Anaheim 3, I think they were battling for third at the time. Dean Wilson was out in front, Seeley was in second. Seeley had fallen and given Wilson the lead. Wilson took off from that point, but the biggest talking point of that night for the 250 West class was this collision that happened. I don't remember what point of the race it was, but there was a collision that happened between Stewart and Anderson. Now that year they had like one of those long sections going down the first baseline, but it cut. It didn't go directly to home plate, but it cut there and it went straight into a rhythm section. Basically what happened was Stewart came down the rhythm section, saw an opening, and pushed Anderson right into the tough block into the next section, and that happened. And so Stewart kind of instigated all this. Not really, but that was the last time they would come together for a while, let's just say that, because this all picks back up in 2021 when remember this race? It was Arlington won last year, round 10, and Anderson made a pretty aggressive pass on Stewart. Stewart didn't like it. They came in to the first turn area, and Stewart tried to annihilate Anderson and instead annihilated himself. And it was the weird one where he clipped his back wheel and went flying into the concrete. Yeah, it was that one. That Stewart was clearly not happy with Anderson about the move he put on him. I believe we can see that move somewhere, and if I remember right, it wasn't that bad. And then 2022, Anaheim won. I didn't even know Stewart did this. I mean, I knew Anderson got taken out in the heat race, but apparently Stewart took Anderson out in the heat race. Well, my memory here is not very good with heat races. I can remember main events pretty well, but heat races, there's just so many of them. I don't remember. And apparently Stewart took Anderson out pretty much the same way that Barcia took Anderson out in the main, but it was Stewart instead of Anderson. Literally same corner too. So yeah, I didn't think anything of that. That's just I don't know where that came from. Maybe last year you can make the argument, but and then we get to the biggest talking point, and Arlington last weekend, well now 2 weekends ago, Arlington Supercross main event number 1 in the Triple Crown. Anderson sees an opportunity, sees an opening, and unfortunately misjudged it and took both of them out. And Stewart's clearly not happy with that. I don't blame him, because you're leading a race. You have yourself set up for a Triple Crown overall win, and that happens to you, and you kind of blows it. So yeah, and I honestly thought nothing was going to come of that until we get to Daytona. And Daytona, the incident that happened here in the first lap, clearly a racing incident. I mean, you can make the argument that when Stewart got pushed off the track there in the second corner that he was not happy. You can make that argument. Where Stewart got docked, a lot of people may be asking, where did they get docked at? Because And don't worry, I was asking that too. Where Stewart got docked is when he got pushed off the track with Tomac and with the Tomac Anderson situation at the beginning. He jumped off track and clicked gears. You're not supposed to do that. And then they get in the stand section, and you could clearly watch when Anderson gets into a berm, and that berm gives way on him, and he's all over the place at that point. Stewart's just trying to go inside, and I mean, we always dog on Ricky Carmichael for saying their lines met in the sand or something like that when they clearly didn't. But this one, their lines kind of met right there. Anderson got all squirrely in the sand. You clearly watch it. Anderson goes kind of middle inside, and the berm gives way on him, and he's all over the place. Stewart's just trying to take the inside, and no intent. I don't see any intent in that move from Stewart at all. Nothing. Like, I'd be interested to hear what James Stewart has to say on his podcast, because James Stewart, who's Malcolm Stewart's brother, fastest man on the planet, kind of backed up Malcolm in that Arlington move. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him have the same take as me, racing incident. That's anyone who says Malcolm was trying to take out Anderson for payback for whatever, the Arlington situation or whatever, or the situation before that, go back and watch that again, because absolutely no intent there. Why would Stewart go out of his way to ruin a chance at a win and take another guy out and ruin his race too? I don't see that. And it's sad because it possibly just ruined a good championship too. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Just remember, guys, this goes back, these two first got together in 2014. This all started in 2014. Yeah, let me know what you think about this whole Stewart Anderson situation, especially at Daytona, in the comments below. I would love to hear your guys' opinion, because in my opinion, it wasn't that bad. It was just a racing incident. You could clearly see it was a racing incident too, just watching it back. If I'm mad about anything, I'm mad about Stewart clicking gears. Like, he broke the rules. They're like, and Anderson did it too. You can clearly see Anderson do it, and that was bad. Like, that was just bad. And I'm sticking to my opinion. It was a racing incident. We're gonna have to see what happens here in Detroit. Very excited for Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens here, and enjoy the racing at Detroit. See you later.